Eastern MMOs, you'll tend to see a new one every year to every 6 months.
Yeah.
And everyone goes to play it, everyone enjoys it, some people pay to get to endgame, some people don't, and then a new one comes out and everyone moves on. It's a very Eastern attitude to move on to the next MMO once you have finished. And it's a very Western attitude to have, I'm going to find one game to play for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very dangerous attitude to have, because that...
It is.
Yeah, that I'm going to have one game forever, we've discussed this before, ultimately always leads to burnout.
It does. And you know what? That's just given me like horrific flashbacks of something in the MMO genre that traumatized me. And it's an Eastern game. Did you ever play Arcade?
I think I played it for one of the worst MMO ever videos, and I think it was so generic I can't remember whether I'm thinking about it or Terra. You might be thinking about Terra, because that is a game that stuck with me. Because Arcade had Arcade Unchained, didn't it? It re-released again. Forget Unchained. Okay. Pile of crap. I don't think I played the original. The original Korean release of it. I don't think I played that, no. I played the Korean release with an English language pack installed. I've never had so much fun with new game systems. Okay. Like, just being able to build an actual ship and sail it across the ocean, no loading screens, nothing, just... It's so hard to explain or compare to anything. Yeah. It's a game that had so much promise, but then they added it was evocation points, I think. That system single-handedly killed that game. Apparently I've not played Arcade, so I want to get round to it. This is a game that you will love until you realise what the evocation points are. What are they, Cal? Sorry, labour points. So you have a little yellow bar that shows 1,000 labour points. Every action you do in the game, such as mining a rock, crafting an item, uses a labour point, or 2 or 3, depending on the tier. So it's a time gating system. Guess what happens when you run out of your 1,000 labour points for the day? Do you have to buy more? You either buy more, or you wait 24 hours to get them back. Right, so it's a limit of the amount of actions you can perform per day. Yeah, and this led to a problem where, to circumvent that, people either bought shit, or they created an army of accounts. Yes. And you'd see, you know, like multi-boxes in WoW, how you'll see someone walking with like 20 boomkins following them. Yeah. You saw that everywhere. It was standard. Those were your mules. They'll just follow you everywhere. Oh, yeah. And in fact, Kiwi's just made a good point in the chat. You had to stay logged in to get the labour points back. What? So, yeah. So you'd have people macroing, them walking forward a step every couple of minutes, because clicking didn't keep you logged in. It was movement. So you'd just see accounts standing there and just all shuffle at the same time. It's weird, because the create the problem, sell the solution system is a thing they've used in games and business for ages. You create the bad thing and sell a solution to the bad thing, and you're the reason that the money comes in. Creating the problem of you can only perform a limited amount of stuff in this game per day. Some people would say, oh, that's because they care about the player. They don't want the player to do too much. They don't want the player's time to be wasted. If that was true, why are they selling extra stuff? They don't care about the player. They care about the rich player. If they really cared about all players equally, they would make sure that you can't do that. When you buy a game, you as the player should be in control of the amount you want to play that game, of what you want to achieve. You know the weirdest experience I had recently? I recently replayed Armored Core for the PlayStation 1 on the second channel. That. You know, when I went onto the Armored Core, if anyone in the chat, I've got a second channel called JoshStrifePlays where I redo retro games and see if they're any good. Armored Core 1, big robot mech shooting thing, you can design your own Armored Core. And I was scrolling through all of the designs for the robots, the different colours and the camouflages and the patterns, and I actually went, wow, this is all free. Yeah. And that's a sad thing to... Yeah. I've been so conditioned by games selling cosmetics that when I was scrolling through free cosmetics on a freaking PlayStation 1 game, I was, for a moment, impressed that they were all there from the start. That's honestly a really sad outlook to have as well. Yeah, that is it really is. It's a super bad place to be. But talking about the whole kind of you can pay for extra points stuff, this reminds me of a story. I was in London a couple of years ago with a friend, and my friend was remarkably wealthy. Just stupidly never check your bank account levels of wealthy. And my friend drove around and they parked on double yellow lines. And they got out and walked off. And I was in the car and I said, you can't park there. And he said, you can. It just costs £100. Yeah. And I thought, God damn, what a way to look at life. And then I realised fine or penalty notice means legal for rich people.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
And when you look at these systems where you can just buy more energy, it means progress for rich people.
Yeah. It absolutely does. And it's really sad because the way that it kind of manipulates your mind is it's quite low because you look at this game, you get into it, and you see people with these huge traveling merchant ships. And when I say huge, I mean huge. Like, in this game, you make goods, you load them up onto your ship, and you take them to another continent where the price is higher at the time. Like, it's such a fantastic gameplay element. However, to get those ships, you need to get these blueprints. To get the blueprints, you need to have maxed out this skill. To get these reagents to make these blueprints, to level those up, it's going to take you 4 months of stop-start playing, or you can do it in a day if you pay.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, so much more.